reacting to Seon video. It's called Scary Ghost Story. That's basically what suggests, like, not this video specifically, but just like Seon. Like Seon's recent video. I have right here. I'm just gonna let her go now, actually, though, because she doesn't want to be here. So it's about almost 6 minutes long. Just my blanket, I'm kind of cold actually, so don't mind me. And let's go. Back up to the version. There we go.
It began on a Friday night. I was at a party celebrating the end of senior year with my friends, when the topic of ghosts somehow came up. So naturally, everyone began sharing their ghost stories. None of them really stood out to me, until the quiet kid who I didn't even realize spoke up. He talked about the bridge near the edge of town, which I would be driving down later on to go home. The thought of that just made the story even more scarier. A long time ago, a woman and her child were taking a stroll along the bridge, when the kid accidentally fell into the river. The mother jumped in to go save them, but somehow drowned to death. Legend has it, if you drive there at night, you'll see a woman walking around, looking for her lost child. When you pull over and try to help, she'll lead you into the river and you'll never come back out. If you see a woman in a white dress, that's when you know to speed off. I don't know if I really believed it, but it still sent chills down my spine. Especially since I knew I'd be driving alone on that road later tonight. As the party slowly wrapped up, I was still paranoid about his story, but I knew I had to go home at some point. So I left at around 3 in the morning, not even realizing that it was witching hour.
Stupid.
I could feel my heartbeat quicken as I approached the bridge. In an attempt to calm my nerves, I shuffled my playlist. But as soon as I crossed the bridge, I noticed it fading out. Instead, the music was replaced with distant cries of a child. Even after I heard the story, nothing prepared me for this. The guy from the party's voice rang in my ears. Do not step out of your car once you're on that bridge. I wasn't sure what to do, but I decided that I should at least be sure it wasn't a real kid, or else I wouldn't be able to sleep that night. After all,
That's fair.
that ghost story was nothing more than a story, right? So I left my engine running and stepped out of the car. I stepped towards the bridge's railing and called out into the river. Is there anyone there? A voice from behind me replied with, yes. Once I turned around, I was faced with a little kid no older than 8. A hoodie covered their face, but otherwise they seemed unharmed. What are you doing out here so late? I asked him,
It's the
crouching
creep
down
out,
to
isn't
his
it?
height. He stepped back once I tried to pull his hood down. I'm lost, the little boy admitted. Can you drive me home? It was a question, but the tone of his voice made it sound like more of a demand. Although it was definitely not a good idea to be giving out rides at night, he was just a little kid in my eyes. It felt wrong to say no, so I said yes and led him back to my car. Reluctantly, I clicked the unlock button on my car keys. When I look back, I can't even remember if he opened the car door. All I knew was once I invited him in, he was suddenly in the back seat. Before I started to drive, I asked him a few questions. They were basic ones, like where do you live, how did you get out here, things like that. Instead of answering me, he just kept staring at the window. It almost seemed like he was looking for someone. I gave up and typed the address of the nearest police station into my phone instead. Once we started driving, I could hear him muttering things under his breath. The words I could make out were, Mama must be starving. My hands trembled as I gripped the steering wheel. Something about that sentence just made me feel uneasy. As I looked back to ask him what he meant, a bright light illuminated the darkness in front of the car. I turned back to the road to see a woman in a white dress right in front of us. Before we could hit her, I swerved off the road. Luckily, I didn't crash, and the seatbelt saved me from any potential injuries. But the kid in the back was dead silent. My heartbeat began to quicken in panic, and I turned my head slightly, only to see him outside of the car, his hood completely off, and him staring me down with his empty eyes. "You'll make a wonderful meal for Mama." Standing in front of the passenger side window was a woman in a white dress, just like in his story. My foot stepped on the gas pedal, and I sped off that bridge as quick as possible. My palms were so sweaty, it felt like they were gonna slip off the steering wheel. In the rearview mirror, it seemed like no one was on my tail. Once I got home, I called the guy from the party and told him everything that happened. The line was silent for a little bit, before he finally spoke up. This is awkward, but
He was joking.
that story isn't real. I just made it up to scare people. That made me think. If those people weren't ghosts, what were they?
Okay, so I didn't know if someone was up here or not, so I was silent throughout the majority of the video, but I don't know what to really say to that, because that is really creepy, because like I will say, in his story he said don't go outside, and the fact that his story matched exactly, like the fact that his story that he made up matched a story that actually happened, that's the like scary like shaking, chilling part, you know what I mean? Because it's like you're joking about it, but then it actually happened to you. So it's like, it's not a joke then, because like it legit happened, you know what I mean? Like, how coincidental is it that you make up a story, and that same person that attended the party hears the story and then lives the story that same night, you know what I mean? That's just creepy and scary as hell. I will say she did what she wasn't supposed to do, get out of the car. I get it though, like if you're just driving and then you hear like a baby crying or like a kid, of course you're gonna try to help. You don't want to live with yourself knowing that you possibly could have saved someone and then they died because like you didn't stop to help them, right? You know what I mean? So it's like obviously you don't want to have that guilt, because like you want to save people if you can, right? Like you obviously don't want to let anyone die, especially if you're the only one there, you know what I mean? And of course you don't want to call 911 just in case, like if no one's there, right? So you kind of investigate first. So in that sense, it's kind of like, you know, you don't know what to do exactly, because like you want to help, but then it's kind of like, should I help? You know, like should I? Like I was told not to get out of the car, you know. So I don't know what to really think about that, but that's definitely really scary and sus. And then if it wasn't a story, like if it wasn't a real ghost story, then like who were those people then? Because it was during ghost hour, which just makes it more sus. That's number one that you fucked up on. 2, you got out of the car, you fucked up again. 3rd, I'm wondering the little boy got in and out of the car as if he was a ghost, just kind of like by like snapping his fingers, and then he just appears. What's that, like teleportation or teleporting, like one spot to the other. So it's like, yeah, I can't do that. I fucking wish I could just appear at freaking school, so I don't have to freaking get up at like 6 in the morning. You know what I mean? So like, what's in my mouth? I don't know. But that's gonna be it for this video. Please let me know any suggestions you may have in the comments below. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to like it, be sure to subscribe if you're new, be sure to turn on post notifications. I upload 2 videos a day, daily, at noon, so be sure to never miss any of those. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.